What's up, guys? So I'm back with the 450 review from Seattle. I've got a name for you. I know who's filling in at Team Honda. They're going to announce it tomorrow. And did this rivalry between Sexton and Webb just get personal? Very last day for samples on Nano-Xtreme. You're probably watching this late on the 31st. So if you are, you got to get that in ASAP. As of tomorrow, free samples are done. They're back to regular business at Nano-Xtreme. Get your Nano-Xtreme because it works amazing. Head over there, use code Cooksy and get free shipping. Check out Coach Rob's YouTube channel. Coach Rob has some amazing content. Anything you need to know about fitness or training, along with a plethora of interviews with former racers, current racers, announcers, industry people. Head over to the Coach Rob YouTube channel.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So Team Honda, they've had two 450 bikes sitting there all year. Jet had the ACL injury, Hunter had the shoulder injury, and they got all this staff, people, and equipment just sitting there. I know they got their 250 guys, Chance Hymas and Joe Schmoda, but there's a lot of staff dedicated to the 450 team, and they're doing nothing. They have decided to add a fill-in rider, and it's none other than Grandpa Earl, Dean Wilson. So he's been racing in Europe, doing the arena crosses and doing all sorts of races, just making money, traveling the globe, because Dean Wilson's just, he's a man about town. That's what he does. He is a lot of fun. He is going to bring a huge spark to this team. He's not going to probably get on the podium, which, I would love that. Nothing more than anything else. I'd love to see Dean Wilson get a podium. But what I expect out of Dean Wilson is a lot of fun, a nice farewell to his career. He's going to ride the final 5 rounds of Supercross. And I see him maybe inside the top 10, but does it really matter? It's Dean getting a chance on HRC Honda to end his Supercross career. And it's been a long, good, and fun career for Grandpa Earl. Now, a bunch of you guys have asked, why did Mark Finnis leave Club MX? What happened? Was there drama? Well, not really. What it came down to is Mark Finnis' results weren't what he wanted. They weren't what the team wanted. And now they do it a little differently at Club MX. And I have praised them over and over, and I continue to praise them. But every single program isn't for every single person. For whatever reason, Mark Finnis wasn't getting the results he wanted, and he didn't like the atmosphere. And the smart thing to do is if you're doing something to its fullest potential and your results aren't changing, you don't just keep doing it. You change something. And while I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or maybe the end of the American Psycho, I would really wish he'd do better so I can use that nickname more. I really like that one, the American Psycho. But he is no longer at Club MX. There are no hard feelings. The team, and that's the cool thing about Club MX. They're like, listen, if it's not working for you, we don't want you here. If you don't want to be here, and it was very mutual. Usually they say those things are mutual and they're not. This actually was. They're both like, well, this is what we do. We've got tons of results from other people. It's not working for you. Is there anything else we can do? And he wanted to try something different. So they're like, hey, no problem. We're going to let you go. Now to that crazy main event in Seattle. It was mind-blowing, the fact that it turned out so similar to last year with Cooper Webb and Chase Sexton dueling till the very last corner. These dudes, it was a battle out there. And Cooper Webb took a little shot at everybody for saying he doesn't have speed in qualifying. I stand by that. He does not have that blitzing speed that Chase Sexton, Ken Roczen, Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac. He does not have that blitzing speed that those guys have, but he has something else. He's got a way he figures out tracks faster and gets better as main events go on. So while they repair the track as much as they can before the main event, there's the main lines. Cooper Webb uses that first 10 minutes of these races figuring out where the line is going to be when that one goes away. And he's almost always the first one to make those changes. He's thinking through that whole race. He's figuring out where he can go, what he can do. And he's not just out there sprinting. A lot of the guys, that's what Sexton does. Sexton races on pure talent and speed. He goes out there and goes as fast as he can. If he can't go fast enough, he doesn't win. Cooper Webb races on strategy, and he goes out there and gives 80%. He weighs out the risk on, well, I can do this triple, but I can only do it good 3 out of 4 times. If I don't do it, that's faster than jumping it and then making one mistake. And Chase, I don't know what is going on with him. Whenever he gets a lead and gets a little bit of a gap, his mind plays tricks on him. You could see his body language change. When he got out there, he stops trying to win the race and starts trying not to lose the race. Now that is when he always has his problems. And that's when he allowed Cooper Webb to reel him back in and battle him and take that win. And my hell, that last turn, I mean, everyone in the stadium knew that Cooper Webb was going to cover the inside. Why didn't he try the outside or square it up? Or like, I don't know why you just dive to the inside. You know Cooper Webb is so good. He's going to cover that. You can beat him, but you're not going to get it the easy way. You're going to have to go around the outside. And while these guys don't have any blood feud or anything like that, I'll tell you what, I can promise you, while it was fun-loving, that little gesture that Cooper Webb did, you know, the finger gun, that pissed off Chase Sexton. He didn't appreciate that. It wasn't nearly as bad. It wasn't like when Cooper Webb first did it. When he first did it, it was to Roczen. They had issues with girls off the track. There was a blood feud going on. So much so that Cooper Webb, he knew it wasn't for fun. When I asked him about it in the post-race press conference, he said, no, I was just giving him like a thumbs up. Now, he's kind of embraced it. It is a funny thing. But don't think for 1 second Chase Sexton isn't watching that and just smoke coming out of his ears. He doesn't like that. Nobody wants to be made a fool of. And while it was in good fun, I guarantee you Chase Sexton did not appreciate that. And Chase Sexton, I mean, while he's mild-mannered off the track, he does not let things slide. If somebody gets him, takes him out, just ask Jason Anderson how he cleaned out his front wheel. Chase Sexton will absolutely take you down if he feels like you're messing with him. And he's pretty damn good at it. Speaking of aggressive, Ken Roczen, what has gotten into him? He almost cost Cooper Webb this race. He's out there just punking Cooper Webb for almost over half of that main event, taking lines, diving underneath him. Where was this Ken Roczen a few years ago when he actually had a legit shot at winning this title? If he had done this back in 2020, 2021, he'd have that elusive championship. I don't know why Cooper Webb has chosen the passive route around Ken Roczen, but if he doesn't get aggressive and move him out of the way a little bit quicker, it could end up costing him this championship. As much as Roczen wants to win this championship for himself, I can promise you he doesn't want his longtime rival who has punked him time and time again to win it either. He would much rather Chase Sexton get this title. It is so nice to see Aaron Plesinger getting on the podium, and it looks like with Chase going to Kawasaki, it sounds like AP is going to get his deal done to stay at KTM. That's what I'm hearing. Like I say, these are just rumors, so don't hold me to this. But it sounds like now that they've pulled up a bunch of money to keep Sexton, they had that ready to go. With him going to Kawasaki, it sure looks like KTM is going to keep Aaron Plesinger for at least another year or two. And that's good for the fans. That's good for everybody. Because, I mean, he's just fun. Hearing him up on the podium describing how he killed the bike and ran Malcolm off the track on accident. Who does that? He's so authentic. He's a character. And yes, he's playing up the cowboy thing. But he's really that guy. He's really goofy, funny. Like, he's not hiding who he is. Just because he's playing up the cowboy angle, that's still who he is. Maybe not a cowboy, but he is that authentic, goofy, fun-loving dude. And I'm sure he feels bad. He did not want to run his training partner off the track. And I would imagine this week he's going to get some ribbing from Malcolm. Oh, yeah, right. You're going to hit me on the start again? And they're two of the most likable guys out there. So it's not going to get a blood feud or anything. It's got to be embarrassing when they check the tape and he stalls the bike, takes his training partner off the track. Check out Ride Strapped, best goggles, glasses, shirts, just an awesome company that I am fortunate to work with. Head over to Ride Strapped to get your red pill shirt, your goggles, or some glasses. Precision Transport, the best shipping company probably out there. I mean, their customer service, they're family owned, reasonable pricing, good tracking, just good people. Hit up pretransport.com if you need to ship anything using a truck. Check out Alias MX gear. Justin Starling's rocking it this year, and they are making a comeback. Head over to Alias MX and get your motocross gear. The selections are limited. You guys bought most of them out, but they are going to keep rolling in and they're going to keep growing with it. So check out aliasmx.com. Justin Cooper looked like he was in a very good position to win his first premier 450 Supercross race, and then he got soft. I 100% believe when he was behind Cooper Webb, he held up. He didn't want to get in the way of his training partner, buddy, who's going for a championship. But what he's got to understand is how elusive these 450 wins are. If you ever get a chance and you're fast enough and you're in track position with 10 minutes to go, you go all in. Ask Travis Pastrana, Guy Cooper, Adam Cincerillo, Grant Langston, all these legends of the sport who've never won a 450 Supercross race. The opportunities that will be in his career to win one might never come again. That's the thing that these guys have to understand. You know, it feels like, oh, well, I just don't want to get in the way of the championship. You have to be selfish to get these wins. If it were the other way around, I'll bet you Cooper Webb would have passed him and went for the win. That's the difference. You got to have that. And I think Justin Cooper, while I hope he eventually gets one of these, when you have a night when you're jumping the whoops and things are working out and you put yourself in that position, you got to go all in. You got to pass your teammate. And then if anyone says anything back at the truck, you say, listen, I was just trying to make sure I won the race so that if Sexton gets second, it's a shorter points loss. So I was still helping him, but I just wanted to win the race. That's how you sell it. And nobody will blame him for that. And Ken Roczen looked, man, the talent this dude shows on a dirt bike is unreal. When he's out there in that main event, the guy is like an alien out there. He is so good and his speed is impressive, but his mental toughness is not anything near what his competitors are. And I get a lot of crap for being hard on him, but he's a bit of a whiner compared to his teammates. Yes, somebody's in the comments for sure is going to say, oh, dude, he's way tougher than you and every other. Yes, I get it. He's in the top 1% of badasses in the world, but compared to those other 1%, he's a bit of a whiner. And he always leans on something as an excuse. There's this problem, there's that problem. He's really good at finding a reason not to win. That's what Ken Roczen does. But what he's doing on that Suzuki is no less than amazing. I will stand by that bike as an outdated chassis. They have not had the development of the other brands. They haven't spent the money as the other brands. He's making that thing look as good as any bike out there. He is comfortable and riding the wheels off of it. Sounds like he's going to stay with that team for next year. Apparently they're looking at, I don't think the Ducati offer that he thought was going to come rolling in is going to come rolling in. And I think it's best for Ken Roczen. Stay there. This dude has a history of being with teams where he gets frustrated. Remember at KTM, he won the outdoor championship, but he was still frustrated with the bike. So then he goes to RCH. Then he's really frustrated with the bike and team. He brings in his own suspension guy. Then he goes to Honda. Then he has the same problems. At Suzuki, he's got Larry Brooks, and the real weapon that Ken Roczen has is Kyle Chisum. Now, I do worry. Kyle Chisum, he has stated this is his last season. I'm sure he'll stick around and do some testing for the team, but it's different when you're not racing week in and week out. You're not riding the exact same tracks. But Kyle Chisum knows how to set up a bike, and he knows how to set up a bike for Ken Roczen. I honestly think Kyle Chisum knows better how to set up Ken Roczen's bike for Ken than Ken does. He knows what Ken needs and he gives it to him, and it's showing out there on that bike. So when Chisum retires, that's going to be a big loss for that team. His value is far more than just a guy that wins LCQs. But I don't see Larry Brooks going anywhere. This dude's competitive and he will find a way to make it work for Ken Roczen. And yeah, I hope he stays with that Suzuki team and they keep doing what they're doing. I don't think they're going to win a championship, but they will be right there and probably surprise us from time to time and get a win here and there. Speaking of teams on their way up, check out Beta. Benny Bloss got another top 10 finish. He was 9th in Seattle. That big man has a lot of talent. If you remember back in the day, he won a heat race straight up against some of the best riders in the world in Utah. He was on the Butler Brothers Rocky Mountain KTM, and then he had some injuries, went away for a little while, came back. Beta, he had issues with the elbow. He is finding his groove. Benny Bloss can ride. And with that Beta program coming around, I don't know what the ceiling is for these guys. I think Benny Bloss could get up there inside the top 5. Maybe not this year, but if they can keep him around for next year, I see Beta taking a big leap up. And that's one of these teams, I think some of these guys that don't have rides might want to take a look. They got some good stuff going on over there. Tough Blocks. Are you serious? Let me just read to you the body count on Tough Blocks. Dylan Schwartz, Cody Schock, Anthony Rodriguez, Grant Harlan, and Justin Cooper, among the ones that I just got off the top of my head. It was funny. I was watching the race with my family, my parents, and my mom, who doesn't watch a ton of racing. We were talking about the Tough Block thing. She goes, well, why would they put those on the track? I'm like, that is a great question. From somebody who doesn't watch a lot of racing and just saw it, she's like, that doesn't seem safe. Why would they do that? And I kind of explained to her the sponsor deal, and she's like, wow, I'm surprised that happens. That's dangerous. It is mind-blowing to me that these teams haven't spoke up or said anything or done anything to get this problem fixed. There is multiple solutions. You can use the Turbis track markers and move them off the track. You can use different signage. There's so many different things. You can use the Tough Blocks they had in Paris. There's about 100 different options that would fix this problem. And they're like, oh, well, we're looking into it. And they're using those little ones and they're kind of trying to pretend like they're doing something about it. Sure, legally, since they've sold those sponsorships, they can't change it in the middle of the season. I would be willing to bet if you went to those sponsors and said, this is a rider safety issue, here's what we're going to do instead, and you offer them a solution, I would be willing to say almost all those sponsors would say, no problem. Because could you imagine the backlash if a sponsor said no and that got out? They'd be like, well, dude, I'm boycotting that product. They don't even care about rider safety. They just wanted their tough blocks out there. It wouldn't be a good look. All right, guys, this is the last day to enter. So if you still sign up today to the Cooksey memberships, it's $2.99 a month. You are entered to win the Red Bull Cooper Webb helmet that Nano Xtreme donated.